Welcome to Scale Up Radio Shorts, the podcast by Smart90 for business leaders who want to scale up, not burn out. I'm Kevin Brent.
And I'm Granger. In our last episodes, we've been unpacking a concept that is absolutely fundamental to sustainable growth: business rhythm. It's the structured pulse of meetings and reviews that keeps your entire company aligned and moving forward with purpose.
Exactly. We've already covered the foundational layers, the weekly tactical meeting that keeps the engine running, and the 90-day or quarterly rhythm that sets your focus. If you missed those, I highly recommend going back for a listen. Today, we're zooming out to look at the crucial strategic layers, the monthly and the annual rhythms.
This is where the real magic happens, isn't it? It's the difference between working in the business, fighting fires and dealing with the day-to-day, and working on the business. Without these higher-level rhythms, it's so easy to get lost in the weeds. You look up a year later and realize you're miles away from where you intended to be.
That's the strategic drift we see so often. It's subtle, it's quiet, but it can be devastating. These rhythms are your defense against that. They are the scheduled moments to lift your head up, look at the horizon, and make sure the ship is still pointed in the right direction. It prevents burnout by giving you control and perspective.
I remember working with a brilliant tech company. They had a fantastic product and incredible momentum, but they never had a formal monthly or annual rhythm. Each team was hitting its targets, but they were slowly, imperceptibly, pulling in different directions. After 2 years, they found they had built 3 products for 3 different markets, stretching their resources to the breaking point. That's strategic drift in action. It's not a single bad decision. It's the result of 1,000 small, unaligned good decisions. So let's frame this out. Think of it as a hierarchy of cadence, with each layer serving a distinct purpose.
We are going to focus on the monthly and annual elements, but let's remind ourselves about the full rhythms.
Your weekly meeting creates momentum. It's about execution. Your monthly meeting ensures alignment, checking that your momentum is taking you where you want to go.
Then your quarterly or 90-day meeting is all about creating focus by setting those big priorities or rocks. And finally, the annual review provides the ultimate context. It's about reconnecting with your vision and performing a strategic reset for the year ahead. Momentum, alignment, focus, and vision. Each one builds on the last. And it's crucial to see this as a complete system. You can't just pick one. Without the weekly momentum, your strategy is just a dream. Without the annual vision, your weekly momentum is just busy work. They lock together to create a powerful engine for controlled, purposeful growth, preventing that burnout we always talk about.
Let's dive into that monthly review first. A lot of companies either skip this or they just turn it into another, slightly longer weekly meeting. That's a missed opportunity.
A huge one. The weekly meeting is tactical. You're looking at last week's data and this week's to-do list. The monthly review is strategic. You're not trying to solve every problem in the room. You're assessing progress against the big quarterly goals and identifying the key issues that need to be solved in the coming weeks.
Right. So what does a good monthly review look like? We advocate for a tight 90-minute format.
It starts with a review of the key numbers. How are we tracking against our most important KPIs? Are we on track, off track? This shouldn't be a surprise. It's a confirmation of what the weekly data has been telling you.
The high-level dashboard.
Next, and this is critical, you review progress on your quarterly rocks or priorities. Each owner gives a quick update, on track or off track. If it's off track, what's the plan to get it back on track? Again, this isn't a deep problem-solving session. It's about accountability and alignment.
Then comes what I think is a vital part, checking the team temperature. This is more qualitative. What are the big wins from the last month? What are the major frustrations or roadblocks? It gives people a forum to share what's really going on, beyond the numbers.
That open reflection is key, and all of this culminates in the final part of the agenda, identifying the 1 or 2 crucial course corrections needed for the next 30 days. You're not changing the quarterly plan. You're making minor adjustments to the execution to ensure you hit it. You walk out knowing exactly what needs to shift. And team temperature isn't just a vague feeling. You can structure it. Ask specific questions on a scale of 1 to 10. How confident are we in hitting our quarterly goals, for example? Or what is one thing that's blocking us right now? Or you right now. And this isn't about complaining, it's about collecting data on the human element of the business, which is often a leading indicator of future performance issues.
That's a key distinction. This isn't the time to panic and change your entire quarterly plan. A course correction might be reallocating a resource from one task to another, or deciding to de-emphasize a minor project to ensure the main rock gets over the line. It's about steering, not about ripping up the map. So if the monthly is for alignment, the annual review is for reconnection. This is the pinnacle of the rhythm. This is where you reconnect with your vision, your purpose, your why.
Absolutely. And the format matters immensely. This cannot be just another long day in the boardroom. You have to change the scenery. And an offsite a retreat, getting the team out of their normal environment signals that this is a different kind of conversation. It breaks down the operational mindset and opens up space for creative long-term thinking.
And the risk of skipping that step is huge. If you try to have this vision conversation in the office on a Tuesday afternoon, you're competing with emails, Slack notifications, and the urgent issue of the day. The strategic will always lose to the urgent in that environment. You have to physically and mentally create space for this conversation to happen properly. That change of scenery is so important. We see the best results when this is structured into two distinct parts, often over 2 days. The first part is reflect and review.
Yes, before you can look forward, you have to honor the past. This means genuinely celebrating the wins of the last year, not just the financial ones, but the team wins, the personal growth. And just as importantly, it means having an honest look at the lessons learned. What didn't go to plan? What were our biggest mistakes? And what can we learn from them?
That honest reflection builds trust and creates a foundation of reality. Once you've done that, you can move to the second part, realign and reset. This is forward-looking. You dust off the company vision. Is it still right? Does it still inspire us? You look at the market, your competitors, your core strengths, and that requires real leadership. To get that honesty, the leader in the room has to go first. They need to be the first to admit a mistake or a misjudgment from the past year. That creates the psychological safety for everyone else to be vulnerable and truthful. Without that, the lessons learned exercise is just a performance.
A classic and incredibly effective tool for this is the SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It provides a simple but powerful framework to guide the conversation. What are our internal strengths and weaknesses, and what are the external opportunities and threats in the market? Grounding the conversation in a structure like that prevents it from becoming too abstract. And from that big picture thinking, you set the key priorities for the upcoming year, not a list of 50 things, but the 3 to 5 major themes or objectives that will define success for the next 12 months. This then becomes the source material for your first quarterly planning session. The annual sets the direction, the quarterly sets the first leg of the journey.
Okay, so this can sound like a lot to implement. For a leader listening to this who might only have a weekly meeting, where do they start? How can they make this practical?
Great question. We have a very simple, actionable takeaway for this. We call it the 90-minute sprint to establish your rhythm. It's just 4 steps. Step 1 is the simplest and the hardest: book the time.
Just get it in the diary.
Yes. Open your calendar right now and book a recurring 90-minute monthly review and a full-day annual review. Make them non-negotiable, sacred appointments with your business. If it's not in the calendar, it's not real.
Okay, step 2, design the format. Don't overcomplicate it. Use the agenda we just outlined for the monthly review. Key numbers, rocks, team temperature, course corrections. For the annual, use the reflect and review, then realign and reset structure. A simple agenda is a powerful tool. Exactly. You need to protect this time as fiercely as you would a meeting with your most important client, because ultimately you are your own most important client.
And make sure everyone has that agenda well in advance. These meetings are most effective when people have had time to prepare their thoughts. The meeting itself should be for discussion and decision, not initial thinking. Step 3, bring others in. This is not a solo exercise. Rhythm is a team sport. Invite your leadership team, share the agenda beforehand, and be clear on the purpose of the meeting. This creates shared ownership and accountability from day one.
And finally, step 4, stick with it. This is crucial. The first 1 or 2 meetings might feel a bit clunky. You might not get through the whole agenda. That's okay. The goal is not perfection, it's consistency. The magic of rhythm comes from its repetition. It builds muscle memory for your entire organization.
So to bring it all together, this framework of weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual rhythms isn't about adding more meetings to your calendar. It's about ensuring you have the right meetings with the right people discussing the right things.
And don't be afraid to be inclusive. While you might start with your core leadership team, think about who else has a strategic perspective that is often missed. It could be a rising star from the product team or a key person from customer support who has their finger on the pulse of your clients. It's a system that lifts you out of the constant state of reaction and puts you firmly in control, making proactive, strategic decisions. The key message here is simple: rhythm equals progress with purpose.
Well said. It's the operating system for sustainable growth, and that's all we have time for on this Scale Up Radio Short.
Thanks for listening. To learn more about how you can implement these rhythms and other powerful tools in your business, visit us at smart90.co.uk. We'll see you next time.